We never left here. Fox 10 Talks Sports, Wednesday edition. Robby, Baker, Blake, Niemann, and back from the great Lone Star State of Texas. I think we both had some harrowing travel tales on the way home. But
prayers to everyone in the Texas area for the flooding that is going on. Severe rain disrupted both of our travels in trying to get back, but we both made it back. We're both here in Phoenix, and we're grateful to be here in Phoenix.
And I'm grateful it's not humid anymore. That was
yes.
It was 118, obviously, coming back off the plane this morning. But I was very happy to have that and not have whatever the percentage humidity was in Fort Worth the last couple days. But we're not here to talk weather. We're here to talk Sun Devil football because, of course, Blake and I were in Dallas for Big 12 Media Days, and this was a much different Media Day experience for the Sun Devils. While there was no official preseason poll anymore because the Sun Devils broke the system last year, going worst to first, you could very easily connect the dots that, yes, there are a lot of talented teams in the Big 12, but the Sun Devils are the favorites coming into this season again to repeat as conference champs. And I feel comfortable saying that, even though there was no formal poll, because, Blake, they were the bells of the ball yesterday. I mean, of all the teams, and we're talking Texas Tech, Baylor, there were Texas teams that were at Big 12 Media Day yesterday, and everybody wanted a piece of the Sun Devils.
Everyone wanted a piece of the Sun Devils, and really everybody wanted to talk to Sam Leavitt. I don't know if there was any other person, including Kenny Dillingham, who was sought after more yesterday than Sam Leavitt. He is truly becoming one of the faces currently of college football. He's on the face of the cover of College Football 26 with Kenny Dillingham. He's got all sorts of Heisman hype. He's got the talent to potentially be a first-round draft pick. Sam Leavitt was being pulled left and right, and boy, he is such a even-keeled and sharp young guy because he was not short with any of us, was great in our interview, and that was after he'd already done like 20-plus other interviews. So credit and kudos to all the guys yesterday from Arizona State because they were gracious with their time and very well-spoken, and it's just such a contrast from the year before because Xavion Alford, Clayton Smith were both at the media days the year before in Las Vegas, and they each talked about the contrast going from that experience last year to this experience this year and how the shift in just, people maybe not wanting to talk to them or not being interested in talking to them for that matter to now everyone wanting a slice of ASU, as you say.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was talking to Xavion Alford, and I asked him that question, how different does this feel? And he started by saying, it's not that different. We're going through the process. And then a few seconds into his answer, he started just saying, no, it's different for us as a team. And then by the end of the answer, it's like, it's a 180. This is a totally different experience. To your point with Sam Leavitt, I actually heard your former boss, Chris Cartman, make this point on the radio today. Kind of a nice little tidbit or insight, if you will, into how Sam Leavitt is wired. Sam was announced yesterday as a PayPal, Venmo, NIL, kind of their big athlete. He was up on the main stage at Media Day, and he's going to kind of be the face, if you will, of their new Big 12 Venmo PayPal partnership. And when he was up there, I heard Chris Cartman bring this up on the radio today, and it didn't dawn on me till I heard Chris say it. The way Sam kind of accepted that NIL partnership, if you will, and was talking about it, he worded it by saying, I hope that I make them proud that they chose me. And to be so young and have all this hype and to have that be how he is wired, that when Chris Cartman brought that up, it kind of clicked in my head that that's just an example of how this guy's wired different. And then Sam told us when he was at the Manning Passing Academy, he was kind of talking with Peyton Manning, which if you're talking to Peyton Manning about anything football related, that's a good thing. But he was saying Peyton was kind of giving him some advice on how to deal with all of this, because this is a lot for anybody when you got media attention and Heisman hype, especially when you're 18, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah, Sam told us that Peyton was reflecting on his experiences with his brother Eli, because Eli Manning was in New York, the number one media market in America. Comparatively, he was in Indianapolis, and he was asking his younger brother Eli for advice on how to handle the media, and he's like, don't consume any of it, good or bad. Now, we'd like you to
I was going to say, consume all of Fox 10 Talks. Watch all of
Fox 10
Talks. This is good.
But that was the advice that Sam was given by Peyton, that Eli ultimately gave to Peyton. But Sam learned a lot at the Manning Passing Academy, especially learning from guys like Peyton. And I asked Sam what other quarterbacks he looked up to growing up in the NFL, and he referred to Aaron Rodgers. It's always been his guy. His older brother, Dallas Leavitt, actually played with Aaron Rodgers when they were on the Green Bay Packers together for a short stint. So lots of things to be excited about for Sam Leavitt, but I'm equally excited to see Jordyn Tyson burst onto the scene. And he was getting some proper deserved attention, but I think he deserves even more praise. This guy can be very well the first wide receiver taken off the board in the 2026 NFL draft. Considering that Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams, two of the other top receivers in college football, are not till the following class after that, it could be Jordyn Tyson solely separating himself this season. He's got all the intangibles. He feels healthy. He's matured as well in a lot of different ways. And just his catch radius and all the different skills he has, the sky is truly the limit for him.
Yeah, I liked a lot of talk yesterday at Media Day about the new college football video game. I like Jordyn telling us that he thinks his player in the game may actually be even better than he is, because Jordan's
he's got a 94.
One of the highest rated players in the entire game. One of the cool things about Media Days, too, is not only do you get to talk with the players and the head coaches, but a lot of the media types are there as well. I got a chance to talk with Brock Osweiler. I also ran into Joe Klatt of Fox Sports, works some of the biggest games, of course, with Gus Johnson, and a great insight into not just Big 12 football, but college football at large. And this was the conversation I had with Joe Klatt about how he sees the Sun Devil football season potentially unfolding this fall. Big 12 Media Days. Yep. It's a bit of a different experience for ASU as opposed to a year ago. What are your thoughts on this iteration of the Sun Devils?
Coming in as like the big dog, the playoff darling, if you will. They had such a great year. I think in a lot of ways it was a great coming out party, not only for Arizona State and the program making the playoff, but for Kenny. Such a young coach. But I think he's been really good for a long time. I remember covering him when he was just a coordinator, and I thought to myself, he's going to be an excellent head coach, and turns out that's the case. What I love for Arizona State is that it's not just that you have this pop and you go to the playoff, and that's all great for 1 year, but to bring your quarterback back and for Leavitt to come back, provide some stability at the most important position. You've got your head coach back, you've got your quarterback back, and you can try to make another run. Now, it's going to be difficult in this conference. I think everyone understands the balance of the conference. I was looking at in Vegas, it's like the top over-under is 8.5 and the bottom over-under is 5.5, and it's like that is a tight spread. So flip a coin on who's going to win this thing.
You mentioned Sam Leavitt, just how important it is to have a guy like that back, yeah. But the Heisman hype, is it real in your opinion?
Yeah. I mean, when you're an experienced guy that's played at that level on those stages, if you can put together a season that's in the top tier of the country, people are going to notice. So he's got the name recognition already. He's been on those stages, like I said, and played really well. In a lot of ways, they should have. I mean, they were right there to beat Texas and be in the national semifinal. So Heisman is certainly there. College football in this era has changed very quickly in that it's really difficult to be a great team without an experienced quarterback. You look at who's won the national championship the last 2 years. Will Howard, highly experienced. J.J. McCarthy was highly experienced, and you need that. And so a guy coming back with that level of experience, I think, is vital.
How prepared is this ASU team to potentially repeat, though? Getting the amount of starters they have back, just the experience across the board has got to, you would imagine, pay some dividends for them.
So I just referenced the last two national champions and their quarterbacks specifically, with McCarthy at Michigan and Howard at Ohio State. But really, it was the entirety of the roster that was so deep and veteran. And so the experience of starters coming back is always going to be important. I think it's more important now than 5 or 6 years ago because of the transfer portal. When you got experience on your roster and every roster is turning over really on an annual basis across college football, that experience actually provides more margin than it used to 5 or 6 years ago. So I think it's really important. Again, though, this conference is going to be tough. The experience will pay off for Arizona State. in one-score games, which I think there's going to be a number of in this conference.
Just last thing to that point, what is it that makes this conference so difficult, so much parity compared to maybe some of the other Big Four?
I think it's it's obviously the balance. There's a lot of good coaches. There's a lot of committed programs, and forgive kind of me for saying this, but there's not an elite program that is just is going to be in the top 5 in the country, and yet there's not a bottom dweller that is going to be bad. So all of a sudden the middle of the Big 10, or excuse me, the Big 12 is so deep and balanced that it can, well, look what happened last year. Arizona State, no one thought anything of in the preseason. They go to the playoff.
And this year it is Oklahoma State. There's some question marks about them. It'll be interesting since there was no official poll. We don't know what people officially think of who will be the hierarchy of the Big 12, but somebody could go from the perceived bottom to the top again. Before we got about a minute or so left here on the stream, Blake, I'm just curious your thoughts on the setup, because if any people haven't been out to the Cowboys facility and that whole complex out there, I'll be honest, I was blown away. Like that. What is for a practice facility? I told my wife it was like if you're here in Phoenix, I text my wife, it was like if Football Disneyland and Kierland, the shopping center, had a baby. That's what the Star Complex was like. I've never seen anything like it. It was Jerry Jones. That's all. It was Jerry Jones. What did you think of the complex out there?
I just can't believe that's a practice facility. It could have been a high school resort. Football stadium in Texas, but in Texas everything is bigger. So there was outdoor football fields, indoor football fields, a turf fan football field, but from talking to ASU's SIDs and sports information directors who helped the players go from station to station, they said that was arguably the best media setup they've had in over 20 years of doing media days. It was very efficient, very well done. So kudos to Frisco, Texas, and the Big 12 for putting that on. Really, really well done.
I would imagine. I would venture a guess it will be the Big 12 Media Days will find its way back there again because it's nice and centrally located for the footprint of the Big 12, and then selfishly for us too, that was hotel, walk across the street, and
very
you're
convenient
right at the Star and the restaurants and the bars. I mean, it was that was the way to do it, Big 12. So thank you guys everybody for watching on the stream. We'll have continued Big 12 Media Day coverage coming up throughout the rest of the week, and then of course an extensive recap this